relationship we see a lot is change over time. We have to talk about change over time in our work quite a bit. And usually it's in a line chart where time is along the x-axis there. But in the data viz world, the real data viz nerds get very particular about this because they say, well, are you really talking about continuous change over time here? Or did you just give people a survey once a year? Because if you just gave people a survey once a year, your line is sort of implying data that occurred between those points. Some of you are nodding your heads like, yep, I'm that data viz nerd. That's right, that's what I would say. Still, we're so used to seeing change over time as a line graph, I think we're sort of okay bending that rule, but it is something that you have to keep in mind. And we are pretty good at interpreting directions, so these are okay, but sometimes it's not the best thing for our data set. For example, here's change over time as a stacked bar chart. Why do you think they would show it as a stacked bar instead of a line graph? Because you can see parts of a whole so much easier here. Yeah, good. Anything else? Say that again?
They're too close together, the results over time.
They're really close together. Anything else? Yeah, and if you look at the time, they don't have data for every year. They're reporting every other year, so they may have felt like they couldn't actually draw a line to represent that. So I think stacked bars are actually a really good solution for change over time when one of our variables is very small and it's parts of a whole, because we can actually visualize that much more clearly than if these were two separate lines. So imagine if you were going to graph the students at RMIT who are homeowners versus renters. The percentage of students who are homeowners would be so small, if you were to put it in a line graph, it would almost look like your x-axis line would kind of disappear. So when you have one of your categories that's very small, making it into a stacked bar is a good solution. Another way we can show change over time is with a split axis bar chart where we're really just looking at the change. If we just want our audiences to see how much change has occurred, we just graph the change. This design is nice and flexible because it doesn't really matter how much time has passed between the 2 points here. It's just the change that has occurred between those 2 points. Another nice flexible way to show change over time is with the slope graph. These are becoming more and more popular. I'm seeing them all the time out in the wild. So it's basically a line graph where the lines stretch out to both axes, and it doesn't really matter how much time is in between. We don't necessarily care about the years in between, and we're not trying to imply that there were values assigned to those years. We're just looking at change between one point and another. I see people do this with pre and post data. I see people do this even to compare things like boys versus girls. It doesn't necessarily have to be change over time. The slope graphs are becoming more popular.